Alright, so the focal point of this video is going to be a comparison of the Microtech Clones. So this is the first one I got. It's a regular knockoff out the front, no particular brand or logo on this one. It does have a US flag here, although from the ones I've seen online, I can't find an exact model that looks exactly the same. A lot of them look just like this, with these type of screws, this type of switch here. And this knife, despite being a obviously Chinese replica or just clone, feels really good. It feels super duper solid. It feels really strong in the hands. It feels like you have quite the heft of a blade coming out despite it being, really thin. So I like this look. The two-tone and double serrations are my preferred. I did have to repaint it. It came kind of in this really bad Walmart style paint, and I got it from Brass Armadillo for $80, which was a complete ripoff considering you can find these on Chinese websites and Amazon for $40, sometimes $20 if you're lucky. I did carry this around for a really long time, about a year. It worked fine. It has the belt thing here. It has a couple of different grooves, so it really fits well on a belt and then doesn't come off too easy. And a windshield or just window breaker here. I've yet to take this knife apart. I feel like I don't need to. It does need to be lubed, which I forgot to do, so sometimes it wasn't deploying correctly. And it does have a safety so that if something is right in front of the blade, it will stop itself from fully deploying just to be safe. And I guess I could show a brief example on something that's kind of soft. It'll do that. So, and then you will reset. So I definitely paid too much for this one. The next one I got, I was expecting it to look like this one, and I just didn't know enough about these things just yet. So this is another replica Chinese one. It's a lot smaller, obviously, than the other two. So see, it goes from little to medium to full size. But this one is the first one that I have that is actually trademarked with the Microtech logo. So there's the Talon and then Microtech here on the clip. And I ordered these quickly because usually they get discontinued. I think it might be a trademark infringement, obviously. But yeah, this one's a little smaller, a lot easier to push out the blade. It does have some trademarks on it. And it looks pretty good for a knockoff. The switch is a lot easier to move than with this one. And one thing I did notice is that the blade exits from it like way off to the right, but it is a little tiny bit thicker than the medium size, which is strange, but it is. The paint on it, not as good. Obviously it's better than this one, which scratched away, but it still feels like a bit rubbery, like Walmart. Maybe like your fingernail can scratch it off. So I'm a little more careful with this one, but I do carry this one opposed to the other two because of its sheer small size. Makes it so ideal for being in your pocket or taking it to work. Places where you need the concealment to be less bulky or maybe on your hip. So then the final one, this is originally what I was trying to get while I was looking at these. I just didn't know anything about Microtechs. I only knew one thing, the scene from 24, and that's about it. That's all I really knew about the Microtech. Also saw it in John Wick. So this is another Chinese replica one, but this one is the best because it is anodized paint. So it's not going to scratch off nearly as easy as the other ones. And this is the actual Microtech Halo that I thought was so cool. Got me into that at the fronts. This one, despite being so much bigger, it weighs a lot less. I'd say it actually weighs less than both of them. These two are both pretty heavy, while this one weighs like half of the weight. The screws are also much nicer. And, the logo's done nicer too, so is the quality of the buttons. And just everything on it, because it's anodized paint instead of just, sprayed on. It's very nice. So here's how it works. It has a safety switch. You pull down and push down on the button, and out comes this huge Tonto style blade. So you can see the trademarks. As you can tell, I've opened up some boxes with it already, but I decided to go something a little different than the double-sided. I figured the Tonto looked pretty good. And then to get the blade back in, you'll push the button down and pull this back like an M4 charging handle, and that will bring the blade back. And then you have this really cool charging handle thing, which is inside. I'm not sure what the holes are just yet. Really no idea. Little paddles here. It's just like a M4. It's pretty cool. You know, the charger. So that is this one. A lot lighter. When I first got it, the blade did not wiggle at all, but now it slightly wiggles ever so slightly after using it, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I also, you know, don't really care too much about having to do this opposed to a switch, which is so much easier, a lot quicker, but maybe it cuts down on weight. And you can have a button in the front, which looks pretty good. Plus, if you really intend to use this knife, you're not just going to put it back in your pocket, so who cares if the putting the knife away procedure is a little longer. So that is the quick overview comparison of the 3 out the front clone knives I have. Obviously, all clones of Microtech. This one being the Microtech Halo, I think it's the 6. While I got you here, we'll go over the rest of my knife collection. So I'll just slide these over here. We'll start with my first knife. Obviously, we're not counting like, you know, pocket knives or anything like that. So this is my first Bale Song, aka butterfly knife. And, you know, it's been a long time since I used them. Got it in high school. A friend gave it to me. And me and my dad actually had to make this because it was missing that. Hence why he gave away the knife to me. So it's always been really dull. It's always been, you know, pretty bad. It's like a swap meet knife, but very first knife ever was a butterfly Bale Song. So I loved it back in high school. Next knife was my unboxing knife that I used in most of my entire YouTube channel. It's a Rainbow Karambit CSGO style knife. Lots of use out of this knife. It was just too awkward to carry in my pocket due to the claw shape. It always remains super duper sharp, and there's not really much that can go wrong with it. Plus the ergonomics are pretty comfortable, and you can do that with it, which is kind of neat little party trick knife. So this was the next weapon I got. This sheath is actually for an airsoft bayonet, so it just worked perfectly for this one. I believe this is called like an M9 Bowie knife. It's enormous. It has these in the back, a little rusted because it went into a pool. So this was actually a prop that was gifted to me by the late great Daniel for one of our movies that we had made, and he let me keep the knife after we finished completing the movie. So that is the Bowie knife, really big and not very sharp. So next knife I got were these two. I actually got these on AliExpress, which is a cheap Chinese website. So little tiny knife here. What I was going for was something with a Damascus blade, but obviously it's just, you know, a pattern printed onto the blade, and then the mismatching wood colors. The reason behind me buying this was I wanted something a lot smaller for my pocket, because what I had originally was that. So this made concealment a lot better. You can even stuff it in your you can even put it in your boot if you're going someplace that doesn't allow you to take weapons. So this other knife I got at the same time. The little holster thing, kind of piece of it broke off, so very low quality, but it's a little tiny butcher's knife, which I didn't really get much use of at all. I think I carried it with me on my person like one time, but the wood looks nice. You know, obviously it's not the highest quality stuff, but it looks okay. It has the loop here, which is neat. The design on the blade is kind of cool. It's got some like waves going in it, or what, you know, mountains. I don't know what those are, but it's a neat little butcher's knife. Good for cutting, maybe meat, maybe fish. I don't know what you're gonna cut with that. Ninja throwing knife, which I have tried to practice with, so it's a little scratched up already, but it's pretty cool. I like it. It's double-edged. It's black, and you could throw it pretty well. I like that. Next is a Ninja Star. Only have one of each of these. Gonna have to get some more, but these are more so just for practice and training, because when I do play airsoft, I'm gonna have rubber or plastic versions of these, which I will throw at players. So that will be kind of fun, and I'll have the metal ones to practice with. So This next thing is pretty fun, pretty neato. It is actually a dart launcher kit that I got from, I believe it was also AliExpress. But it has these little metal darts here, and it comes with quite a few. You could take that off, which is like a safety, so it's more sharp. Anyway, you get this little nifty unit. It is really cheap. The buttons fall off, so I don't suspect it to be too safe either, but from my testing, it seems all right. So that's the safety. You pull it back, and now you can launch the darts. You got a dart here that you can load in. It takes a lot of force to get these in there, and you probably got to do it in a very safe way. How I usually do it is put it under a table and then push up. So a wood table. So yeah, if you put it under a table and then push up, you can load in the dart because it takes quite a lot of force. I'm not going to shoot it inside the house because they actually shoot really hard and may puncture some things. After a while, if you leave them in or you've used it a lot, the springs will wear out and it'll be less powerful, but it is still a really neat little device, which can be dangerous. So I would really be careful with this one in particular. It's a ballistic knife, basically. Whether or not this could be lethal, you'd have to hit someone in the throat, the temple, or the eye, or just an artery, and they'd bleed out. It could be lethal. I mean, it is shooting a metal projectile with a spike on it, so. This other knife is kind of cool. This is also an AliExpress knife, so not too much money paid for this one. Not much money at all, really. And I like it. It's pretty cool. It looks like a hunter survival knife. Definitely I'd put it in the survival category. It has this cool like rock style pattern on there. Boulder, whatever you call it. And then the wrapping of the cord, the leather cord around it. Very cool. I call it the Tonto knife. Not sure that's even its name, but I like it a lot in terms of like hunting and fishing. Obviously, it's not very comfortable to grip and hold with a lot of force and cut something because it's this bat. So it's not, the most comfortable thing in the world. But it's a cheap like $4 knife that, looks the part. Pretty nice, pretty cool. And the holster actually works if you want to put it on your belt. But it's not very likely I'll carry this one around as often. So I did want to show that the Microtech Halo did come with a holster, and it is a really nice holster. It's very, very nice. It's not too weak either when you pull it in and out, so you're not going to like drop it. Seems to work okay. And then this stuff in the back that folds down, and you open that up, put it on your belt, and then close it and lock it. So quite a lot that you're getting for a knockoff clone knife. It's quite a nice package. I think this was like 46 bucks or something compared to the $600 real steel knife. All right, so the last thing I saved for last is because it's probably the most fun and cool weapon in my knife collection. This is a folding deployable sickle. I love it. I actually really love it because I spent like over a month playing Puppy Keep on AliExpress in order to earn this for free, basically. Traded in a lot of my time in order to get this stupid thing, but it's really cool. It's all metal. That folds, and you do that, and that folds, and now it becomes very small. Like this is a whole sickle in your hand, and it's not that bad. And it actually deploys with a given enough force. So it's really sharp too. Yeah, I'm not sure the practicality of carrying this with you, but the fact that it folds means you could take it anywhere you want where, you can conceal carry. And the bottom's actually really nice. It's got like black wood, actual wood. It's cool, patterns and designs on the metal. It's all metal. It feels really good construction wise. I love it. And it was free. I think this only cost $20, however, if you were to, buy it new. So in terms of cost for each of these things, I think the AliExpress knives are always going to be cheap. The launcher, all of it. The only thing that was really expensive was the Halo clone. That was pretty pricey. And for the final parts of our knife extravaganza video, we're going to be testing out the dart launcher. The only ballistic thing in my knife collection. So let's see the range. Oh, looks like it got all the way down there. It's pretty good. All right, we're gonna try penetration with wood. Oh, usually it has enough power to puncture wood. Let me try this one. Yep. And it's actually kind of hard to pull out of there too. Went pretty deep.